This episode of One Hit Thunder is brought to you by DistroKid. Christian Bale was preparing for his role in American Psycho, dressing the part, hitting the gym, getting his teeth redone. There was just one problem. He didn't actually have the part. Leonardo DiCaprio did. What Went Wrong is a podcast dedicated to the idea that every movie is a miracle. Join Lizzie Bassett and Chris Winterbauer every other week as they unearth the chaos and humanity behind Hollywood's biggest flops and most shocking successes. They aren't here to dunk on your favorite films. They're here to celebrate movies. As the New York Times said, they're movie industry people who truly love films and the people who make them. Listen to What Went Wrong wherever you get your podcasts. Patreon voted, and this week we're diving into Cornershop's 1997 single, Brimful of Asha, a song that producer Matt, a true fan, has been waiting for us to cover. Known for blending Indian influences with indie rock, Cornershop crafted a unique song that's a heartfelt tribute to a beloved Bollywood playback singer. Though a remix by Fatboy Slim unexpectedly brought the track to modern rock radio, Cornershop stayed largely in the underground, never hitting the charts again. Join us as we explore this one-of-a-kind band's lasting impact and debate whether they deserved more time in the spotlight.
Brimful of Asha on the 45. Well, it's a brimful of Asha on the 45. One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder?
Matt, 1 second before we hit record on this recording, you said, "Man, am I excited to talk about this song. You are a big Cornershop head." And I want to make this known right from the start. We are actually talking about Cornershop's Brimful of Asha remix by Norman Cook, a.k.a. Fatboy Slim. This is what is considered the hit, if we can call it a hit, Matt, by the way. Can we call this a hit?
It's a bit of a stretch for sure. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon, patreon.com/OHT podcast. This one won the votes. This doesn't happen often on our Patreon, but I was excited to see this. There was a lot of chatter about the options, and the general consensus among the patrons, because one of the other options was Here Come the Hot Stepper.
Oh.
And they were like, look, legitimately, you guys have to do an episode on that one of these days because it's insane that you haven't yet. But everybody was like, you need to cover Brimful of Asha. Like, this was like a big one. Now, it's funny because you told me that you had never heard this song, whereas like this was in the summer of 97, early 98, like inescapable on my local alternative radio station. Like, I actually hated this song at the time. Now I love it. Now I love Cornershop. And Chris, as much as I've loved this band, I think I was telling you, check out this album from them, check out like this song by them. I learned more about this song than I ever knew. And it's gonna be a slight spoiler alert. Obviously, I'm talking at length already about how I love Cornershop, so it's most likely going to be a thunder on my end. My appreciation for what this song is about has like enhanced tenfold after doing research on it.
Well, we'll get into that, Matt, but I do have to say, yes, I did not know this song. If you're saying this was played on radio around you all the time, it was not played on radio in the Pittsburgh area. And I guess this was on MTV. I don't remember ever seeing it on MTV or anything. It does seem like it was a little more popular in the UK.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know this song is because we do a podcast called One Hit Thunder, and I've seen it on lists, and people have posted it in our One Hit Thunder Facebook group. So I sort of retrospectively have learned about it, and I'm always like, what is this exactly? And I didn't even realize, even listening to the song, that this is kind of a band that fits into the whole British Oasis style scene. I didn't really pick up on that from the way this song sounds.
Well, this band, the more I dove into it, the more unique they are. I feel like they're definitely one of those bands where there are not a lot of groups that sound like Cornershop.
No.
And part of that is because, they are of Indian descent, like, not Native American, of Indian descent. And so much of Indian music is blended in with everything that they do. And they're so proud of their culture. This song is literally a love letter to their culture, which I think is awesome. And we'll dive into that deeper. But the origin, like even the name of their band is a reference to a stereotype that British Asians, which is another way that Indians had been referred to in Europe, all owned corner shops. So they named themselves Cornershop to like acknowledge it. Like so much of this band's identity is seeped into that. They're very political minded. Like they're almost like to a lesser extent, like a UK version of like a Rage Against the Machine. They had a lot of political like undertones in their songs. One of their early like spotlights was in the 90s when Morrissey was being vilified in the UK press for accusations of racism. They were invited to comment on it in the Melody Maker magazine, and they ran a story that featured the band burning a picture of Morrissey outside of the offices of EMI. They had a punk rock attitude, even if their music is not punk rock at all.
I love that.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people who are like, oh, you got to keep the politics and music separate. You don't want to make anybody mad. I completely don't believe in that. I will say, like, I don't go on my band's accounts and post my politics, but I make it no secret how I feel about things because I like when artists do that. And when artists keep their mouth shut about important things, I kind of think less of them because I think you have a voice and a responsibility to be on the right side of history, if that makes sense. And maybe people could argue with me about that and think, oh, you just shut up and play your bass, Chris, but that's not how I feel. So that always endears me to a band or an artist.
And this is going to be crazy that we mention this musician, but their first album, their debut album, really impressed the Talking Heads lead singer, David Byrne, and he signed them to his record label. And this led to them like being part of Lollapalooza. They toured Europe with Beck and Oasis and Stereolab. Like this was before Brimful of Asha. They were already making some really big movements, being like a kind of small self-produced group. But this is where we get to their second album, When I Was Born for the Seventh Time. That was released in September of 1997. This album was critically acclaimed, featured a cover of Norwegian Wood that was Yoko Ono and Paul McCartney approved. They both loved it, where they sang the song all in Punjabi, their native language. It even had production from Dan the Automator on there, and Rolling Stone even called it one of the most essential recordings of the 1990s, and in Spin magazine, it was ranked as the #1 album of 1998. So, Chris, you had texted me that you were listening to this album for the first time, and all you said to me was, this album is wild. So I have to ask, did you enjoy this album?
Yeah, I almost need more time to process this band. I know that coming into the episode, I should have already have everything processed, but it's kind of hard to. They're pretty wild, and the albums are kind of an experience. I listened to a few albums from them, and sometimes the songs are just, I'm just like, what is going on here? This is confusing as to what's going on, but I think I really like it. And I didn't expect to come into this just knowing Brimful of Asha or hearing that song and liking this band as much as I do.
And I told you to listen to their follow-up album to the hit, which was Hand Cream for a Generation, which I think that album is even better than their hit album. And that album really does explore that like blending of Indian music with like techno and like electronica music in such an interesting way. Like right out the gate, the opening track, Heavy Soup, just has this heavy bass drum vibe, and you're just like, it is such an adventure. It's one of the rare records where it has like a 14-minute long song that I'm just like invested in for the entire 14-minute ride. Like, I'm not getting off early here. I'm enjoying where this is taking me.
Right. But get back to Brimful of Asha. They released it as the original version of that song first, the album version.
Yep.
It performed moderately well. I think it hit number 60 on the UK singles chart. But that remix by Fatboy Slim became the hit.
Yep.
Then it went to number 1 on the UK charts. And, okay, here's where we say, is this a hit? Number 16, not on the Hot 100 in the U.S. I don't even know if it cracked the Hot 100 in the U.S., but number 16 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart.
Yep. It peaked at 16 on January 31st of 1998. And at that point in time, Chris's favorite song of all time, Sex and Candy by Marcy Playgrounds, was sitting at number 1. Let me ask you this, Chris.
Let me ask you this, Matt. Is that Sex and Candy? Is that anybody's favorite song of all time?
No.
Is there a person out there whose favorite song of all time is Sex and Candy? I don't know if I want to meet that person, because that is a strange favorite song of all time.
I would argue it's not even Marcy Playground's favorite song of all time. Chris, let me ask you this question. Because, like I said, I really started to discover what this song was about in the last couple days researching it. What did you think this song was about from the first time you listened to it to, like, did you kind of figure out more doing research?
I didn't even think about it whatsoever, but I did learn through reading about it that the lyrics are a tribute to Asha Bosley or
I think
Bosel.
We're going to, we should just put this out there right now. There are a lot of Indian names coming up that neither one of us is qualified to say.
I might be a little bit better qualified than the guy who has a rule in the One Hit Thunder drinking game about him mispronouncing things.
Yeah,
So
I'm saying is give us grace.
Yeah, I would like to go back in time and see how you pronounced Punjabi a little while ago, because I think that might have already been a shot for somebody out there. But the main songwriter of this band, I don't know, Tejinder or just Jinder. It's Tjinder, Singh. I don't know if that's Jinder, maybe Jinder.
Let's go with Jinder to be safe, but all respect. Listen, sir, if you happen to stumble upon this episode, we really like your band and we apologize that we weren't able to find the proper pronunciation of your name. Continue, Chris.
Okay, yeah, well, and his brother Avtar Singh, who's the bassist and vocalist of the band, they formed the band in 1991 with drummer David Chambers and guitarist and keyboardist Ben Ayers. And like Matt said, this band is a fusion of Indian music, indie rock, alternative, and sometimes EDM even.
Yep.
Like, they are really all over the place. Sometimes a mishmash of styles that aren't normally together can be a disaster, but somehow these guys pull it off.
Yes. So the Asha in the song, as you said, is referring to this singer, right?
Yeah, right.
So how much do you know about Bollywood?
I know nothing about Bollywood.
Okay.
I guess my only question, the closest thing to Bollywood, and I do believe that this is not a Bollywood movie, that it was something different. I could be wrong about that, but I recently, maybe in the past year, watched that movie RRR, which
I think that counts as Bollywood. I do. And
does it?
So I saw at least, I've seen like 2 or 3 Bollywood movies. I saw one in theaters, which was crazy. I didn't know it was a Bollywood film when I went into it. It was in my days of Movie Pass, and I would just go see movies at random. And I saw a movie that I was like, all right, this sounds interesting. And I was like, it's a little long. It's like 2.5 hours long, but I got nothing going on. And I went and I was like, oh, this is Bollywood. And I was like reading subtitles, and it kept breaking into song and stuff like that. So Bollywood are the main film export in the Indian culture. It's a lot of musical numbers, no matter what it is. They've done like their own version of Jaws that still has musical numbers in it. There's always musical numbers. But very often the actors were not able to sing, so they would be lip singing to a playback singer performing. And Asha in this song was one of the most prolific of those singers.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I think this song is absolutely brilliant, right? He says the reoccurring chorus and where the title comes from. He says, "Brimful of Asha on the 45," right? So in Hindu, Asha also means hope. So he's doing a double entendre essentially by saying like a brimful means like you are filled to the cup. You have an abundance of it. So when he listens to music, he has an abundance of hope in the exact same way that there is an abundance of music from this playback singer, Asha. And
Wow.
like this song is like both a celebration of his culture while being a celebration of like how music helps lead to escapism the exact same way that films lead to escapism.
Wow,
And when you
that's-
when you read the lyrics with that kind of mindset, you're like, oh my God, this song is absolutely brilliant.
That's really, really cool. And speaking of abundance, this Asha that we're talking about, who was the playback singer in Bollywood, sang on over 12,000 songs and
Yeah.
is referred to as Sadi Rani, which is Punjabi for our queen. And that 12,000 songs,
Yeah.
like, is she doing 10 songs a day? That's
I mean, she
so
must
many
be.
songs.
The song also references a lot of other playback singers. One of them I actually have some music from, Muhammad Rafi, which is. Have you ever seen Ghost World?
Yeah.
Muhammad Rami is the singer in the opening of that movie when she's watching a Bollywood movie.
Nice.
So I have the Ghost World soundtrack, and I was like, I know that name.
Nice.
But yeah, like, and the other thing that I think the second catchiest part in this song is the, like, I want to call it, I guess, the post chorus, that everybody has a bosom for a pillow, mine's on the 45. In an interview, he said that was their own version of saying, like, everyone needs a shoulder to cry on. Like, everyone needs something to provide them with comfort, and mine is found on the 45. Mine's found on a record.
Nice.
So it's like I said, it's a celebration of their culture, and it's a celebration of music. And I was like, man, I love this song more than I think I knew. I already liked the song a lot, but now I really think that this is like an achievement of like a really great achievement of music. And the fact that this had something that's so deeply seated in his culture that this was even like a top 20 hit on the rock station seems all the more impressive to me now.
I think a thing that's impressive too, because I've tried to do it before, and maybe we've done it as a band before to us. Yeah, I mean, maybe a song here and there, but a song about loving music is almost, I don't know, is meta the right word? It's almost, it's a tough thing to pull off and make people care about. A song about how much you love music is such a weird concept, and to be able to do it in such a cool way, I think is pretty impressive. Also, Matt, I wanted to ask, is this kind of the precursor to the big thing over the past 4 or 5 years on TikTok of sped up versions? You know,
That
like,
definitely helped when he remixed this. He sped it up, threw a little bit of samples in it, but honestly, it's not that different from song to song beyond those changes. But
Matt, as a guy who came into this song only recently, the version that is slightly sped up in a higher key, it is so much better.
yeah,
I seriously think that, and it doesn't even go up. I think it might go up at like, well, it doesn't even, it goes up like a step.
Yeah.
It may be modulated
it's
to
a
like
half
maybe.
step modulation is what I have.
That's
in my
it.
notes.
It's just
Yeah.
half a step.
I believe so.
I mean,
yeah.
but it makes all the difference in the world. I don't know. It just makes the song that much more enjoyable to listen to. And I mean, Fatboy Slim, got to give him credit for that, for knowing that.
And I think something that's interesting, and I believe I've talked about this somehow I think this came up on the Weird Algorithm podcast with Milligan, but we were talking about a very unique thing that's only happened a handful of times. And this is one of them, was when you have a DJ who's able to hear a song as it's on the radio and go, ooh, there's just one thing missing. And like, I don't think Cornershop hired Fatboy Slim to do this. I think Fatboy Slim heard the song. The story that I understand is Fatboy's, like, Norman Cook heard the song and said, this song should be huge. I think I know exactly what's missing, and like tweaked it just enough to work. The other example we used for this when we were talking about on Weird Algorithm was the DNA remix of Tom's Diner, which took the Susan Vega like a cappella song and just put that bass drum groove underneath it, and it went from like a very minor performing song to like an inescapable hit a year or two later when they remixed it. Like, those are the two biggest examples, but I think we do see this a lot where the slightly remixed version is just like someone with an ear that can hear that song is like 98% there, and they just need to add this one little piece to finalize it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, hey, sometimes it is the most minor of changes can take a song to a whole other level. This song's a perfect example of that. And Cornershop, they have continued on.
Yeah.
Like, they are still a band. You recommended that Hand Cream for a Generation album from 2002. That album features Noel Gallagher on guitar. And that's a wild album. That's one. I think I sent you a song from that. I'm like, dude, check out this song. And you're like, dude, I already know. I have all their albums. I'm a fan of this band. I didn't even realize that at that point. Hey there, One Hit Thunder listeners. Are you ready to take your music to the next level? Well, get ready to rock, because this episode is brought to you by DistroKid, the ultimate digital music distribution service for artists like you. With DistroKid, you can easily upload your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music, reaching fans all around the globe. But that's just the beginning. DistroKid offers a ton of awesome features like Hyperfollow, which helps you promote your releases and get pre-saves on your songs, all for free. But wait, there's more. The DistroKid app is now available on iOS and Android. With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. This powerful tool allows you to put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time. But that's not all. DistroKid has just launched a brand new feature called Instant Share, allowing you to easily share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more. With Instant Share, you can keep your music streaming at the highest quality while making the best impression possible. So what are you waiting for? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities. Possibilities that I know all about because I've been using DistroKid for years. It's seriously great. If you haven't used it before, you're going to love it. And One Hit Thunder listeners get an exclusive offer, 30% off your first year with DistroKid by signing up at distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder. That's distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
In the darkest corners of the internet, a nameless, formless entity has been growing. No one dares question where it was created or what it wants, but those who have been entranced by its musings chant its blood-curdling name in unison. Horror Movie Night!
Find Horror Movie Night on your favorite podcasting app or at hmnpodcast.com.
In 2008, there was a Cornershop song used in a Nike ad for the LeBron James 6 shoes. It's a song called Candyman.
Okay.
I don't know who knows that commercial or whatever, but they were in 2008. This is a decade later after their minor hit. They released the album Judy Sucks a Lemon for Breakfast in 2009. They also released albums in 2011, 2012, 2015, and 2020. And you spoke of their politics, Matt. They are fiercely anti-Brexit. They released a song about it. You know, I'm not from the UK to really be able to that intelligently comment on Brexit, but it seemed very bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, Brexit, as far as I know, is not too far off from a lot of the politics that Donald Trump proposes of mass deportation. You know what I mean? Like, it was a mass exodus of anyone that were deemed unwanted immigrants into the country of England.
I mean, I guess I don't know a lot about it. I knew that they were exiting the European Union, and I thought it had a lot to do with currency and things. I guess I'm not, you know, I have enough to worry about our own country over here in the United States. So anything I heard about Brexit was kind of through social media or through Last Week Tonight with John Oliver or something. Like, that's where I got most of my info, was like social media and comedy. Not always the best place to get all your info.
It's still a better place than my information on Brexit, which is like the closest I came to even remotely understanding Brexit was the Christmas movie Last Christmas that weirdly has a Brexit subplot.
What?
To it. Yeah. It depicts it as a bad thing in that movie.
Yeah.
So,
I believe that it's a bad thing. Okay. Yeah. I also want to talk about one thing I will say. If you need a little bit more, if this makes any sense to anyone out there, about what some of the more rock songs by Cornershop sound like, I would kind of say, for example, the Hold On It Hurts album.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like something that a band in the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World would play. It sounds like a band who would be in that battle of the bands, like real fuzzy and strange and lo-fi, but really cool is how I would put it. But yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, no, I think that this band was a ton of fun even before we did this episode. So I'm glad that this is one of those rare times where we can say that Chris has found a band that he kind of likes.
Yeah, I would say that, though. I kind of like them.
Yeah.
It wasn't painful to prepare for this episode and listen to their catalog, but I don't actually know that I will like put them on. Maybe on a long drive or something, I might be like, you know what? I'm going to give this whole Cornershop album a try. I always respect people that are trying something different, though, so I really like that. And Matt, before I really give a final decision on these, do you want to test your wits a little bit?
I always want to test my wits, so let's see. What do you got for me?
Yeah, everybody out there, if you want to test your wits a little bit, too, I want to take you back to around the time that this song, well, actually, you apparently found when it peaked on the modern rock charts or whatever. I didn't find that, but so what I did is I went to back when this album was released. When I Was Born for the 7th time, the album that contains Brimful of Asha was released in September 1997. So I wanted to give you some trivia questions about that month, Matt. I got 7 of them for you here. How do you think you could do? You're not getting any multiple choice, but I do feel like these are all very gettable.
And this is like my prime time out of I'm going to say 5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. Okay, I like the optimistic nature of your guess here. Okay. On September 13th of 1997, the funeral for what Catholic missionary was held in India?
Ooh. I'm going to go, was that Mother Teresa?
You got it. Nice job. On September 15th of 1997, this was registered as a domain name.
Was that when Google was registered?
You got it. Damn, 2 for 2, Matt. Go ahead.
I literally, I forget what we were watching. I was watching something with Barb's kids, and it was Scream. We were watching Scream, and the kid was like, why don't they Google information? And I was like, well, at that time, they would have only had Ask Jeeves. And he literally asked me, when did Google exist? And I Googled, when did Google exist?
Wow, you Googled it. Nice job. Jeez. We know too much random trivia, Matt.
Boy, do we.
We really do. We do. On September 8th of 1997, this Fox TV series created by David E. Kelly premiered.
Fox series created by David E. Kelly. Premiered in September of 1997.
By your uncle, David E.
Yeah, good old Uncle D. Was it, can I ask one question, animated or live action?
Live action. I'll give you that.
Wait, was this the X-Files?
That's incorrect.
Okay.
It was Ally McBeal.
Oh, that's actually on my list to watch very soon because it just dropped on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Do we have to do an Ally McBeal watch podcast?
You know what? Nothing's going to stop me from doing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have no idea what that show is. I just know there's the Dancing Baby. That's the only thing I know about that show. All right. So you're 2 for 3, Matt.
All right.
On September 18th of 1997, this media mogul gave $1 billion to the United Nations, creating the public charity, the United Nations Foundation.
I'm gonna go with, was that Bill Gates?
That is incorrect.
Was it Steve Jobs?
Nope.
Okay, I got nothing then.
Those guys, I don't think of them as much as of media moguls. This guy is a media mogul, Ted Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, 1997, I think Ted Turner is just the wrestling guy.
Well, that's media, isn't it?
That's true. That is true.
On September 25th of 1997, this NBC drama performed a live episode on TV.
NBC drama.
It did a live episode.
They did a live episode of an NBC drama?
They did.
I'm
On
like
September-
sitting here and I'm like, I remember Drew Carey show would do live episodes all the time. 30 Rock did some live episodes.
Yeah, true.
But a drama?
No, this is a drama.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only NBC drama I could think of, I'm not going to get my 5. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get my 5. I'm leaning towards Grey's Anatomy, but that seems 97 seems way too early for Grey's Anatomy. Hold on a second. Was there any other drama that I could think of? Fuck. And it's not like a daytime TV show. Like it's not like
It's a prime time drama.
Yeah, it's not like a soap opera.
No.
Okay. 1997 drama. Dramas from 1997. I'm like racking my brain. ER. I'm going to go with ER.
You got it. You got it. Wow.
It had to be a medical show. Like that was like the only thing I could think of in my head.
Well, that's impressive to me because I was picturing like you were Stimpy and your brain bouncing around inside your head trying to figure that one out.
It really was. I was like, I know a lot of comedy shows did live episodes. I couldn't think of very many dramas that have.
Good job pulling that one out at the last second. All right, Matt, you got 2 questions left. You could hit your goal if you get these last 2, and I feel like you can get these.
All right.
On September 29th of 1997, this British pop star released his first solo album, Life Through a Lens, featuring the single Angels.
Was that Robbie Williams?
You got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, and I feel like you're going to get it. I feel like this last one's a gimme.
Okay.
On September 12th of 1997, this Euphoria and White Lotus actress was born in Spokane, Washington.
Shit. I might not get it because I've still not watched Euphoria. So there's only one person from Euphoria I know off the top of my head. Well, there's 2, I guess. But I don't...
Euphoria and White Lotus.
I know, but White Lotus has like such an evolving cast every season. Shit. I can't even remember who was in past seasons of White Lotus. I don't think Zendaya was, so I'm going to go with the only other name from Euphoria that I know, which is Sydney Sweeney.
You got it!
Yes!
Wow! Dang, you really pulled that out on those last three, man. Good job.
I did, man. I did. Because Euphoria is literally like on my, I have like lists of shows that I need to watch on each app. And like, I'm almost done The Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max.
Oh, it's so good.
And
so
then
good.
it's going to be The Penguin and then Euphoria. Like that's like, it's so close to being what I watch next.
Euphoria is so upsetting.
That's why it's low on my list. Euphoria and Pretty Little Liars are at the bottom of my list because I'm not that interested in either one of them, but I feel like I need to see them.
I mean, it's artistically interesting and engaging, and it's one of those shows that's like so messed up that you kind of can't stop watching it. But there's something about the fact that, okay, look, all the actors and actresses are of age, but they're playing characters who aren't, and they're showing them like naked and like there's just something about it. It's like, oh, like,
well, it's not exactly the same reason, but one of the things that's kind of put me off from it is like, I don't even know if it's that much like this, but one of my least favorite movie watching experiences of my entire life was the one and only time I watched the movies Kids and the movie 13. Like they were both movies that just frustrated me emotionally. Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like Euphoria is just like TV show version of those movies.
Oh, I would venture to say, I mean, Kids is pretty extreme, but I would venture to say Euphoria is even, I would say Euphoria is more extreme than both of those.
Yeah. So that's why it's very low on my list, but I will watch it and be caught up before the like new season. But I'm not going to have fun with it. It's not like when I got caught up on Succession and I was having a good time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. But back to Cornershop. You've already showed your hand. You are definitely
Thunder.
You're definitely Thunder. I like the song, and they're still a band, and they're cool, and they don't sound like anybody else. And you know, one of the things we think about is like, should this band have been more popular? Well, they've had a pretty good career.
Yeah, I think about it in the lens of every once in a while. I think about like Todd, when Todd does Todd in the Shadows and he does an artist, he always says like, should this band have deserved more? And in a certain lens, like Cornershop's lucky that this song was even like because they're so different that it's like, it's wild that this even succeeded. But if I'm saying, should the listeners of One Hit Thunder definitely do a deeper dive into this group, I say euphorically, yes.
Counterpoint. This I think this band probably did deserve more for being unique and different and writing cool songs and making cool albums. But another counterpoint to that point is we do a show called One Hit Thunder, and we always go by United States charts. This is not a hit in the United States. In the UK it was. In the United States, this is not a hit. So they're kind of a no-hit wonder in the US. That would be the counterpoint. Regardless, I'm going Thunder.
Woo!
So Jinder Singh, Avatar Singh, and the fellas, look in the mail for your certification. Just got to get that baby notarized. You guys are certified Thunder.
Picking myself off the concrete floor. Yeah, I've been drinking since.
This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Fafalios of the band Punchline and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing A Friend Indeed off the Punchline album Lion. Visit punchlinemusic.com for any upcoming news on the band. Our podcast is on Patreon, so find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote on future songs for us to cover. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us on any podcasting app, and tune in next week for more One Hit Thunder.
Down and out and I could not see. You were so true and a friend indeed. A friend indeed. A friend indeed. Your voice is like a cheat sheet. Now I'm passing every test. Yeah, you're
listening to the Geekscape Network.
Bowie, Dylan, Marley. You've heard the names and maybe you've heard their songs, but what about the stories behind the records that made titans of music like these so universally loved and important? Join me, Josh Adam Myers, host of The 500, as each week I go through a different album from Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Albums list from 2012 with an incredible lineup of comedians, actors, and musicians talking about how the music has impacted their lives. New episodes of The 500 come out every Wednesday. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
The Helping Friendly podcast explores the music and fan experience of Phish through interviews and deep dives on shows and tours. For more than 10 years, we've created insightful and fun discussions about our favorite band, and with the help of our guests and thematic series, we're still discovering new angles of appreciation for Phish. And when the band is on tour, we provide a review of every show the following day. As one of our listeners said, any Phish fans that enjoy meandering conversations and incredible insight on new and old Phish shows, this is for you. Highly recommend. It's not just about the band and the shows, it's about the journey getting there. Throughout 2024, we're going to be running down the top 25 Phish tours of all time, and that'll be interspersed with show reviews and regular episodes. Join us and check out the Helping Friendly podcast wherever you get your podcasts.